Namaste, everyone. ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consulting, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Saturday afternoon. It's about 4 o'clock p.m. here in Denver, Colorado. I got my Colorado shirt on, which Stephen, Namaste, which a fellow pranic healer or Hatha yogi gave to me 3 days ago at the annual Hatha Yoga retreat. Marsha, Namaste, and I have not paid her yet. She was supposed to send me a PayPal link. She had my number, never sent me the number or never sent me the PayPal link. So some way, shape, or form, I'm going to have to track her down and send her money. It's very challenging when you have to track people down to give them money instead of them tracking you down to get money. But it's been less than a day since I've been home. I've been traveling. Hey, Brazil! What would I say? I know obrigado, but that doesn't fit for what we're talking about. How do you say, like, what's going on in Brazil? Because I would say that if I knew how to say it in Portuguese. By the way, coming from Massachusetts originally, when I was young, and I was working with all kinds of people, and I remember working with so many people from Brazil. Obrigado. So many. One of my dance instructors, no, I take that back. 2 of my dance instructors are Brazilian. But I remember growing up in Massachusetts, and I worked with so many Brazilians, Brazilian men, Brazilian women, and they were super friendly. They were always happy, and they were beautiful people. Like, loved it. Yeah, love my Brazilian brothers and sisters, for sure. I'm sure Anna's on here somewhere running around, or we'll see this later. So, where's I going with this? Oh, so I've only been back in my house, in my healing space here in Denver, Colorado for less than a day. And pretty much been traveling. Atma Namaste, Master Marilag, one of the great teachers in pranic healing. How did you get here so fast? You left your mermaid so quickly. That's a secret I'm not willing to reveal in this very moment. But thank you for asking. So, it's good to be home. It's good to be in this stillness. While I do thrive on traveling, going to different cities, going to different venues, mixing it up with different people, there is something very sacred and very special about just being in your home space and doing, what's necessary. So Grandmaster Choa Koksui, the modern founder of pranic healing and Hatha Yoga, talks about, Jennifer Atma Namaste, talks about the benefits of meditating in the same space day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, because you impregnate that area with divine energies. So when you sit and meditate in the same place at the same time, it's easier for you to tap into those energies. Jennifer, somebody's saying, I don't care about your stream anyways, because she can't seem to get on for whatever reason. There's certain people that aren't seeing the streams. I'm not quite sure why. But if you meditate in the same place at the same time regularly, it's much easier and faster to get into a meditative state otherwise. Nadia, Atma Namaste. Good to have you on as always. So I wanted to jump on and do these live streams. Margot, Atma Namaste. As you guys know, we do these. Marcella, Atma Namaste. We do these live streams every single day, random parts of the day, sometimes the morning. We haven't done really much in the morning, afternoon or evening. And I have a person I'm going to be doing healing on right after this stream, and then a friend of mine is going to be jumping over to my place, and we're going to head out, get some dinner. I don't know what we actually have planned because he's heading out to Germany tomorrow. He's lived in Denver for 2 years, loved it, but something shifted in his job, and he's going to be heading back to Germany and actually starting an entirely new career. So I'm super proud of him. I'm proud of his insight, his vision. I'm proud of his courage and fearlessness on tackling a new project, which this is not easy for most people. So props to him. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting beautiful messages coming in. I mean that literally, and they keep kind of coming over the screen. Good evening. That's a nice heart. There's a lot going on. So I want to talk about something that I've been aware of, that I've been meditating on, that's come in and out of my consciousness, especially over the past week with what's been happening. I spent 8 days in California doing the annual Arhatic Yoga retreat in San Diego, and then I had about 4 days of quote-unquote free time, and it's never really free time. I feel like when I hang out with other pranic healers and Arhatic yogis, we're always going 1,000 miles a second, going from this place to that place, doing this meditation, that meditation, talking about this thing that we're working on, that thing we're working on, healing this person, that person. It's like boom, 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 boom. There's always something to do and experience, apparently, as a pranic healer and Arhatic yogi over the past 15 years. And so what was really beautiful was the principle of oneness. I was getting a greater realization of that than ever before. And here's an interesting thing. You can't have the principle of karma or the law of karma without the principle of oneness. Because if there is no oneness, then you can do anything to everyone and there's no consequences. Nothing is going to come back to you, right? But because we're all connected, we're all one, whatever you do to your fellow brother or sister, you're doing to yourself. If you hurt them, you're hurting yourself. If you're kind to them, you're kind to yourself. Does that make sense? Apurvi, Atma Namaste. So one of my favorite quotes from a great spiritual teacher, Ramana Maharishi, who in essence had no teaching and no teachings and no students from his school, if you will. How can he have no students if he has a school? He was that kind of teacher. You have to look him up. Ramana Maharishi. Great teacher. He lived at the base of Mount Kailash, which is considered the spiritual cord of the planet Earth. So that's a pretty big thing. Little sidetrack there. But one of his students asked him the question many years ago. Said, "How should we treat others? How should we treat others?" And this great teacher said, "There are no others." And he's not just saying that from a talking point or a theoretical concept. He's talking about it from the realization on the soul level, that there are no others. There is no separation between you and I. As you suffer, I suffer. As your life improves, my life improves. As my life improves, your life improves. As we meditate and we expand our consciousness and we become more connected to our higher selves, what happens? The entire planet Earth vibrates, right? The entire Earth vibrates and it becomes more cleansed, more purified, and the vibration frequency is higher. Even to a minute degree, it's still happening even if one person is meditating. But if you have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people meditating around the planet, that will rapidly increase the vibration of the planet and we'll be entering what is known as a Sat Yuga. Sat Yuga, sun period. So, home of Lord Shiva. Very interesting. Stephen says, how could we not be one? What we do to others, we do to ourselves. Our thoughts, words, deeds affect all of us out of the environment. We are all connected, like it or not. The butterfly effect is real. Yeah, so you've heard that example that a butterfly flapping its wings, I forget the whole analogy, a butterfly flapping its wings in South America will create a tsunami in northern Japan, something like that, right? But basically, through the principle of oneness and the law of karma, there is no separation. There are no others. And so I thought it was funny, my last night in California, I was scurrying around to find a place to stay that was appropriate. Sylvia, I'm a namaste. I was looking for a place that was appropriate for me to stay because I had a place to stay in Oxnard with a friend, but because I chose to spend time with a client in LA, it didn't make sense to drive back to Oxnard and then drive from Oxnard through LA to San Diego. It just made more sense to go from Oxnard, Burbank, LA, San Diego. And so I'm scurrying around, I'm looking at Airbnbs, all this other stuff, and I finally found a few Airbnbs, last minute, good pricing, not a problem. Sarah, Atma Namaste, not a problem, right? Totally down for making this happen. And so earlier in the day, I sent out a message saying, hey, if you know any pranic healers in the San Diego area, I would love to connect with them. And so one of the pranic healers didn't have any space at that time. She sent out a message to 7 other pranic healers in the area, right? And 2 of them said they didn't have space. 4 of them never got back. And then one of them said, I have some space if you can make a donation. And I thought to myself, well, this person is not set up for me to stay with them last minute, but I can give money to a pranic healer and her Hatha yogi, or I can give money to, an Airbnb host. I could give money to a hotel, and it doesn't necessarily support the individual, or it doesn't support a like-minded person. So I made the call. Now this person lives in a rougher side of town. They know that. Everyone knows that. That's not a big secret. This person lives in a rougher side of town. And I've never met them, but they came referred to me by another Arhatic yogi. Niwa, Abba Namaste. And I thought, okay, well, white guy, rougher side of town, light sleeper, rougher side of town, sensitive to light and noises, rougher side of town. But this is the disciple of a great, great teacher, our teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui. The money's going to this individual. Okay, let's do it. Let's make it happen, right? And it was a further drive than I expected. It's funny enough, the address that I originally got was downtown San Diego. And I was like, oh, downtown San Diego. I know downtown San Diego. Okay. This is a nice part of town. Safe, no problem. Well, wrong address. I had to drive, almost 20 minutes outside of downtown. But you know what? When I got there, and the person opened the door, I had an immediate realization. He didn't realize it, but I had an immediate realization that him and I were standing, Barbara, Namaste, him and I were standing right next to each other in the back of the room during the Arhatic Yoga Retreat in San Diego, and we were sharing snacks with each other. There was like a table full of snacks, like donuts and cupcakes and raisins and nuts and all kinds of things. And it was just one of those moments that we're both hungry. It wasn't break time. It wasn't lunchtime. We're kind of in that middle squirrely moment that we're like, just need some calories to soothe the beast within our bellies and maybe feed the brain a little bit with some glucose. And so we're trading snacks back and forth, not saying a word to anything to each other other than, hey, this looks good, why don't you try that one? This looks good, why don't you try that one? And we're just going back and forth. And it was a really sweet, loving moment. And then that was the person's house that I was staying at, the rough side of town, right? And I cannot tell you, when I got into that house, yes, it was the rough side of town, but I can't tell you how grateful and joyful and appreciative I was of having the opportunity to give money to this disciple of our teacher. And he had made up the bed in the back. He had a nice fresh towel out. He had a brand new toothpaste, brand new toothbrush, a nice face cloth. Like, everything was set out so I would have a beautiful experience. And it really, really warmed my heart. I was overwhelmed by this person who was willing to let me into their house. And he's like, if you want to go, if you want to get anything for dinner, help yourself in the fridge. We're cooking dinner now. Do you want something? Like, super, like, heart wide open. And I go, this person is a product of our teacher. Kind, loving, generous, patient, tolerant. It was such a beautiful experience, because I could have been wrapped up in the external of, like, this is a rough neighborhood. Keep in mind, guys, when I say rough neighborhood, I'm not saying this from lack of experience. I've traveled the country. I used to own properties in Newark and Irvington, New Jersey. If you've ever been to Newark and Irvington, New Jersey, they're very, very tough neighborhoods. That's why when I came out to Denver and people told me, oh, you want to stay away from this part of town because it's really rough, I don't know what they were talking about, because there was no roughness about it, But this particular area, because I don't know San Diego very well, this particular area was a rough part of town. You know, usually bars on the windows of the houses and apartment complexes is usually a good indicator. But in spite of all the roughness of the external environment, going into this person's house, this co-disciple's house, and staying there for the night, I felt so loved, so protected, so provided for, like I was speechless. And that goes back to what we're talking about, is what would our lives look like if we had a true realization of the principle of oneness, that there is no separation between you and I. Because I've been lucky enough and honored enough to stay in 5-star resorts, and I've been lucky and honored enough to crash on broken down couches of people who are getting evicted, right? I've kind of like covered the gambit of places to stay and places to live, right, over the past 38 years on this planet. And I realized that many, many years ago, because of my lack of awareness, my lack of understanding, and my lack of gratitude and appreciation, even the beautiful places that I stayed in, even the super, super nice places that I stayed in, I didn't appreciate, right? Which negatively affected my experience staying there, and negatively affected the experience of the person that I was staying with. And wasn't it nice that I got up super early in the morning, not super early, but early relative to how much sleep I got, that I got up early in the morning, traveled, got to the airport, and I got a beautiful message from this person saying, it was really nice to have you stay with us. If you ever want to stay here again, please let us know. And I'm like, psh, unbelievable. And it was really funny because I wasn't expecting a rooster to literally be maybe 15 feet from the window of where I was staying in this neighborhood. There wasn't just one rooster, there were many roosters, but the closest rooster was about 15 feet away, and it started, what do roosters do? Cawing? Roostering? Cackling? What do roosters do? Anyways, the rooster was doing what the rooster does at 4 o'clock in the morning. Good thing I have earplugs on. I never travel without earplugs, and I never travel without an eye mask. Why? Because this body is very sensitive to noise and very sensitive to sound. That's why the place I live in, here in Denver, very quiet, very still. I still have to have the eye mask on, though. Can't make the place dark enough. So I got to hear that at 4 o'clock in the morning, to 4:30, to 5, to 5:30, to 6, to 6:30, right around 7-ish when I got out of bed. And I thought that was very, very funny. Thank God I had my my earplugs in, and I wasn't able to hear it too intensely for too long. But things like that, right? In spite of all the weird, squirrely, external things that happened outside of that apartment, inside the apartment was love. Inside the apartment was sweetness, was compassion, was joy, was gratitude, right? There are, on the wall were the certificates that this student had taken, the different classes that this student had graduated taking with Master Choa. It was beautiful. Stephen said, I'd rather help a fellow yogi too. Paying it forward works. We all have times when we need help, and if we help others, the universe will help us, without a doubt. Was thinking the same. Ha, Sylvie, you're so funny. So that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about tonight, or today, this afternoon, whatever, is the realization of the principle of oneness, the law of karma. As Master Ko says, it's not called the opinion of karma, it's called the law of karma. So whatever you do to your fellow brother and sister, you're doing to yourself. So if you're living a difficult life, help other people have less difficulties in their life. If you're looking to get a new job, help somebody else get a new job. If you're looking to if you're looking to be in a loving relationship, help somebody else get into a loving relationship. If you never want to be hungry, feed other people. If you never want to be broke, give money to other people. Principle of oneness, law of karma in effect. And if we just practice that on a regular basis, our lives would be better. Our lives would be so much better. By the way, I got my new glasses, guys. I hope you like them. A very special friend helped me pick them out. And they're the ones that I can go out in the sun and they turn pitch black, which is really cool. I've never had glasses like that before. And my eyesight has not changed in the 3 years that I had my last checkup. So pranic healing works. Eye exercises work. Cleansing works. Yeah. So super grateful about that. And that's about it, guys. So Steven says, what are you saying, Steven? Our bears will help you get up in the morning. Mountain bears support recycling food and not letting anything in the trash go to waste. Oh, for sure. Sylvie says, this is good to hear. I just paid the basic pranic healing work for a friend of mine who is really needed at this moment. I love it. Oh, that was the last thing I was going to add to today's talk. Very important. Keep this in mind. I saw Master Code did a post on this a year ago. I've had my own experiences and insights and realizations around this as well, is that the bigger the energy body is, the more aware we have to be of our thoughts, our feelings, our words, and our actions towards that energy body. So basically, in a nutshell, if you project negative thoughts, negative words, and negative actions to an ordinary person, an ordinary energy body, the karma, the wave of karma, will come back to you 2 to 5 times. Joe, good to have you on again. Namaste. 2 to 5 times. But if you have negative thoughts, negative words, and negative actions towards a big energy body, like a great teacher, like a great spiritual teacher, the effect can come back to you 1,000 times or more energetically. Does that make sense? So that's why we as disciples who spend a lot of time with really big energy bodies and spend time hanging around other energy bodies that are very developed, we have to be more conscious of our thoughts, our words, and our actions towards those people. Now, it's not something to be afraid of, it's just something to be conscious of, but the converse is also true. If you have good thoughts, good words, and good actions directed towards a huge energy body, that will come back to you and your family 1,000 times or more. So it works both ways, which is really, really exciting. You're like, how much more can I help so-and-so, right? But the great teachers and the great souls take on different forms at different times, right? So if you see a homeless person in the street and you think to yourself, that person doesn't have a big energy body, you could be very surprised and very disappointed, right? Which is a whole other conversation from teachings of Master Choa. So, Saman, namaste. But that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. If you are in need of healing, and we all are in need of healing, no matter what, physical healing, emotional healing, relationship healing, mental healing, financial healing, doesn't matter what it is, I want you to go to ChristianRLong.com/services, ChristianRLong.com/services, and sign up for a distant coaching and pranic healing session where we bring you from where you are to where you want to be. And my homeboy is here. Many homeless owned homes and businesses, respect them. We don't know the story exactly, which deals with awareness, understanding, and compassion. All right, guys, I'm over and out. Any questions, direct message me. Please share this stream on your personal or professional Facebook page if you got value out of it, because if you got value out of it, other people in your circle will get value out of it. And I look forward to connecting with you very, very soon, as in tomorrow. This is ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.